I know it's been a while, but I'm back, and let's talk about what's up in Japan for December 2015. So, one of the new things that happened is recently they opened an Otaku Cafe. So this really isn't news because they have other Otaku Cafes, but I believe this is the first one that exclusively caters to female otaku. And so they have different things in there. So if you would like to do cosplay, they have people to help you cut your wig, they have free Wi-Fi, they have special drinks, I think for about like 1,200 yen or 1,300 yen. It's, you know, all you can drink, and they have all sorts of things. But not only is it a cafe, it's also an exclusive club. So you have to pass a test to get in there. There's a bunch of questions they ask, and I guess if you don't fill out this online before you get there, you can't come in. Also, no boys allowed, so I guess it's only for women, so I guess that's disappointing for all you male otakus. If you're a female otaku, check it out, if you live in Osaka. The next one is news about Japan's birth rate increasing. So there's been a few problems in the last few years about the birth rate actually decreasing, and so this is the first time since 2010 that the number of babies have actually increased in Japan, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, this is a little bit misleading because the death rate is also increasing. So actually there's a deficit of about 300,000 people. That's not so good. Maybe that should be the story instead of the increase in the birth rate, but I like the news. They're trying to be positive, so that's good, I think. The next one is a little bit strange. It's about a labor specialist, and basically this person is a legal advisor for labor, like companies, or I'm not sure if, I guess it's for companies instead of workers. But the reason he was suspended from his job, and I think he might actually be kicked out of his organization, is because he runs a website and he thought, you know what I'm going to blog about today? I'm going to blog about ways to make your employees depressed and sick. So he basically talked about ways to harass your employees legally, and so you wouldn't get in trouble, and you can make them so depressed they would quit their jobs. He did this because he said, I have so many workers, you know, that give their employers so much trouble, I thought this would help them. At first I was kind of going to give him a pass and say it's not so bad if he was joking, but in his excuse he said, I wasn't joking, I just thought this would help employers. So, I don't know, this guy, I guess he's a legal specialist, but I guess he didn't realize this could get him sued and in trouble, so maybe it's better that he's fired and finds a new line of work. In other news, it's actually 2016 when this is coming out. So, to backtrack, every year in Japan, they have a kanji, and this kanji is kind of like the word of the year. This year they chose... Now, this means safety in Japanese. So this is kind of an interesting kanji, and the reason they chose this is because of all the ISIS attacks this year and those kinds of safety things. And also because the Japanese self-defense force was changed, and now they're allowed to do, I guess, offense. That's the reason they decided to choose this as the kanji of the year. And every year it's revealed at Kiyomizu Temple, which is one of the biggest temples in Japan. The next one is a little bit of a strange one also. It was actually from the Twitter of a famous Japanese manga artist. I forgot exactly which manga he wrote, but he's an older guy. And anyways, he went on Twitter and he decided to tweet about an experience he had at a sushi restaurant. And so he went to like a very high-class sushi restaurant, and he was ordering and eating and, you know, doing the normal thing, and he overheard a woman. And the woman in there was, I guess she ate like a piece of sushi, or maybe she had an appetizer, something else first. And then she goes to the sushi chef and she said, I'm actually on a low-carb diet, so could I have sushi without any rice? He said that everybody in the sushi restaurant just turned to her and looked and like, what are you talking about? And then after that, the sushi chef just said, get out, and told her to leave. And so the manga artist was actually on the sushi chef's side. He thought like, I can't believe this woman did this. It's, you know, really out of control if somebody would do this. I don't know if it's, you know, so bad that somebody did this, but to be honest, sushi in Japan is kind of seen as not only just food, but it's kind of seen as an art. And also, I don't understand why she would ask for sushi without rice, because there's already sashimi, which is basically the same thing. I don't know why you wouldn't just ask for that, or just go to a restaurant that serves sashimi. I don't know why you'd go into a sushi restaurant and ask for no rice. That's kind of like going into a hamburger restaurant and asking for salmon, but what do I know? And last but certainly not least, maybe this is the least, it's the worst story. There's a government employee recently who was arrested. And I know you think like, oh, why was a government employee arrested? So he worked in like a small ministry. He's not, you know, the prime minister or anything. But he was riding on the train, I guess going to work or going from work. And unfortunately, one of the things that happens in Japan is sometimes people like to touch women. And so he decided to do this and kind of giving her a rub or a grab or whatever. And she said something. She's like, "What are you doing? Stop touching me." And normally, you know, you think this would stop it, this would be enough, and maybe he would get in trouble. This guy went a step further. Not only didn't he stop, but another woman came and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop touching this woman." His response, "You can get some of this too." So he started touching this other woman to try to help the first woman also. And after this, of course, he was arrested for doing this. And I was kind of shocked about his excuse. He's like, "I didn't do it." I can understand if it was like a dark alley or like in your apartment building or something where there's nobody else around, but it was in a crowded train. People saw you doing it, number one. Number two, you did it to two women. So I don't even know what his excuse is. I guess I think he's in his 60s, so maybe his mind is going or something, or I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he went crazy, and so hopefully something will happen to him and he'll be punished. But it seems like this kind of crazy thing happens on trains often. I heard a story, it wasn't in the news. They told me that in December they were on the train. The train stopped because somebody was touching a woman and she said something, and so he pushed like the emergency stop and he opened the doors and he started running out along the train tracks. And so when this happens, they have to stop the train so nobody's hit, this person isn't hit by the trains. So they stopped, and of course there's a train delay, which is bad. Makes you late for work. There's so many people on there. But luckily, even though Japanese people really are punctual and they like to be on time, most places will kind of give you a pass if it's a train delay. They give you a little ticket that says, "Oh, you're late for work," so your job doesn't get angry at you. One old man who's on the train, who's unrelated to the grabbing, decided to get angry. And so he got out of the train too, jumped and started walking on the rails, walked up to the front of the train, took a big rock, and then threw the rock at the conductor. I don't even know what to say about that. It's not like the conductor really has control over that. I mean, he didn't jump out of the train, but I don't know, I guess some people just lack patience. I don't know what to say. It was a funny story. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Maybe I shouldn't say that. That woman who was groped was probably hurt, but hopefully she's okay. Hopefully the person that ran out of the train, that groped the woman, was arrested. And hopefully this old man that's throwing rocks at the train conductor is also arrested. So some crazy stories, but hopefully I'll be back next year, or should I say this year, in 2016, and I'll have some more exciting new videos. Until then, see you. If you enjoyed that video, subscribe. Also, feel free to comment down below and check out some of my other videos here. Or is it here?